Hello, and welcome to The Exchange, an interview series for men. In this episode, we're going to be talking about going from being a man in the church to a minister in the church. And I'm honored to be joined today by Brother Leilani Latu for this interview, who's going to share his insight on his own personal journey into ministry. Leilani Latu was born and raised in Sydney, Australia. And at the age of 18, he began his career as a professional rugby player, competing at an elite level in Australia and internationally. Leilani was baptized on January 29, 2012, and shortly thereafter, he received the Holy Ghost. He attended the Pentecostals of Sydney before relocating to Queensland, where he spent 2 years at Grace Point Church while continuing his professional rugby league career. Leilani later transitioned to England after signing with the Warrington Wolves, continuing both his sporting career and commitment to faith. Following his retirement from professional rugby in 2021, he remained a faithful and active attendee at the Apostolic Church of Liverpool, along with his wonderful family. In recognition of his dedication, service, and calling, Leilani was formally licensed as a local minister in 2025. So, Brother Lonnie, as you're more commonly known, welcome to The Exchange.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you today, and thank you so much for joining us. And I want to talk to you today about some of your journey. You were just licensed last year, so this is something that's new and something fresh. But I want to talk about that journey you took from being a faithful, consistent man involved in the church, which is valuable, and that journey into ministry of taking those next steps. So, first of all, let me just ask, um, how were you involved? What areas were you involved with in your local church?
So, in the Pentecostals of Sydney, me and my wife were in charge of looking after a specific age group in our youth. We primarily looked after the 12 to 17-year-olds, and there was another couple that looked after the 18 plus. And primarily, we got given that role by our youth pastor at the time, and he obviously saw potential in us that we didn't know that we had, and we did that for quite an extensive period. And then when my contract ended in Sydney, Australia, and I moved up to the north of Australia to Queensland, uh, my wife and I were primarily just helpers with the youth, and overall, overall, we just were very we were hands on. Me and my wife were always trying to get involved as much as possible. It didn't matter where it was, what it was, and that was of the same belief when we came to Warrington. I never wanted to come to England. Uh, a lot of offers kept coming for me to come to England, and it took a guest preacher from uh, Singapore, Pastor Timothy Lee, to say to me, if you're going to go to any church in England, I recommend the Apostolic Church of Liverpool. And it took me 10 minutes to get home from the church in Queensland. And in 10 minutes, my agent rang me and he said, Warrington Wolves have come with an offer that blows everyone out the park.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts? And when I looked at the distance between where I was training to the Apostolic Church of Liverpool, 15 minutes away,
Hmm.
I said, all right, I'm going to Warrington. And when we got to Warrington, it was in the year 2020, and COVID hit that year. And thank God for Zoom, because that was where we got introduced to the church family. We were always there for the church, for the Zoom meetings. Pastor Hemus's wife Sherry was the first to uh, come to our house to give um, some presents, as we just had our daughter just before COVID. We had our daughter, and because we were so desperate for a visitor, a new face, we were like, "Come in, come in." And she goes, "No, no, no, it's okay." So outside of that, it's been 6 years since, and the first thing when I met Pastor Hemus, first thing he said to me was, "Rugby league may have been the vehicle that brought you here, but it's not going to be the vehicle that takes you back home." And in 6 years, uh, my pastor, and his sons as well, uh, have really helped knuckle down the finer things within myself that uh, I didn't know that I had, and um, in that, I'm a I I serve in the Sunday school ministry as a teacher. I serve as a men's leader. I help out in the worship team, uh, but basically, I I just try and be available, no matter where it is. Um, the most humbling thing that I've ever had was the first time I had to clean the toilets while I was playing professionally. The church cleaners weren't there. My wife was a part of the cleaning team. I remember she asked me to come down, and I drove down. I drove down to the church, and this was in Sydney, Australia. And she said, "Well, since you're here, why don't you come and help me?" And I said, "No, where's the other cleaners?" And she said, "Well, there isn't any. There isn't any. It's just me." She goes, "You may as well just help me now, please." And it was a really humbling moment for me because in a split second, I had already gone through. You earn so much money, you're adored by so many people, and now's the time to either put that under and just help your wife clean the church. And within an instant, I just said, "Okay, yep." And my whole mindset just changed to, "Lord, no matter what it is, no matter how bad it looks, I just want to be available, no matter what."
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
So that's yeah.
So the ministers in your life saw potential in you, and your wife helped humble you.
Yes. Yes.
That's how it goes.
That's how it always goes.
Yeah,
We see 2D, and our wives see 3D
yeah,
and everything else.
yeah. So that idea of availability, of being willing to do things that you may not be comfortable or even think that you can do, but
Mm,
trusting the individual who's asking you that they see potential in you. Um, yeah, I think that's important.
yes.
So in mentioning, um, you said that other people saw potential in you
Yes.
and pulled things out of you that you didn't know were there. Let's talk about that for a minute, because I think maybe we all experience this where others may see potential but we don't see it. So at what
Yes.
moment, it may not be a specific moment, but when did you start to feel, not that you could do it, but if you want to call it the call, when did you start to
Yeah.
feel that pull in your own life?
It was after I taught my first Bible study.
Hmm.
That was in Sydney, Australia. Um, when I taught my first Bible study, I I instantly gathered that, okay, this is this is something that's so important that you can't just seem to just casually do. Casually do. It's not something that's going to be robotic, routine. It's something that you've got to invest time in. These are people. These are families. These are children that are giving up. Not only giving up their time, but they want to know. And over the years, like I can honestly say that there has been times where some Bible studies I've done out of the flesh, some Bible studies, but most of them I've prepared for because maturity has had to come into that. And I it wasn't until I did my first Bible study I instantly realized that there is an importance to doing things for God, to doing things in this walk with Him. And over the years, and I keep saying it, that it wasn't until I came here to Liverpool where God cut all the ties, all possible ties that I had. Once COVID hit, even though I had the money to go back home, that was not an option.
Mhm.
My daughter, the registry office was closed. My daughter had no identity for 18 months. I had nothing. I couldn't do anything. It cut everything from me. And here I am praying with my wife during COVID, and we both get this revelation that it was meant to be here, to stay here for such a time. Because how does that happen? God orchestrates us to come, then He literally cuts all ties of any possibility for us to depend on, and we just focus on Him.
Yeah.
And that's been the sole thing since I've been here. Pastor doesn't have me on a leash over here, forcing me to stay here. It's only been God. It's been He's been the consistent thing, com- uh, consistently convicting me, pricking my heart to say that there is a need here in Highton, Liverpool. Funny enough, Highton, Liverpool is pretty rough,
Mhm.
but from where I'm born and bred, it's just like home. And I tell people that, and um, that's been the most humbling thing that since I've been here, God, and I liken it to, for the life of me, I always look it up and I always forget what it's called. But when you have a stone handle in a stone bowl and you're grinding peppercorns, yeah, that's what it feels like God's been doing to me and to my wife since we've been here in England. And there's been suffering in those moments. There's been mountaintops moments as well. But all in all, I know for a fact that if I had not made that jump to come to England, then I would not have grown. And I wholeheartedly believe that I would not have grown the way my pastors have helped me, the way God has helped me, literally removing all possible excuses, all the people that I could depend on, and my wife. If we hadn't removed any of those things, then I would not have grown the way that I have. But in saying that, I know that there's still more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
The journey never ends.
no, no,
Yeah. So let's let's look at maybe a little bit. We're all different in this way, but uh, reconciling within yourself, coming to the point of saying, "Yes, I'm going to go get my license." And I'll just speak for myself, and then
yeah,
let you share. Because for me, you don't need a license to minister. I think we all
right,
understand that. But I think some people use that as an excuse to not progress forward because there is something more official, even within our own minds, because you meet a board, they talk to you, they ask you questions, there's an accountability that's part of it. And so it doesn't mean that you have to have a license to minister, but it is a noticeable step that you're taking and that others see
Mm,
as well. And I think sometimes we can use the excuse of I don't need a license to minister as an excuse not to step forward.
mm.
We deal with issues of worth and who am I to do this? And so maybe you may not feel the same way, but describe that internal struggle possibly you had of, yes, I'm going to do this. What was it that went through your mind and your spirit?
Uh, well, it wasn't until I came to it was my first general conference that I attended, and Stan Gleason was speaking. And there was a period that we we gave honor to all those who got their local license.
Mhm.
And I it just it dropped into my spirit of I I really want I aspire to want to do that. Not
Mhm.
for the title, but I understood at least in my mind, I was telling myself, "Oh, like, I want to do that. I
Mhm.
want to do that." And I spoke to quite a few. I spoke to two other men who's in the men's leadership about it as well. And I said, maybe we should start thinking about doing that. And I spoke to my pastors. They got me on board to Ministry Central, which was the American platform
Mhm.
and how to get your license. And even though that wasn't part of the UPC GBI um, plan on how to get your local license, they they said it'd be very beneficial for you if you actually did that. So I went through that avenue first,
Mhm.
and I did all the exams, did all the videos and everything to get my local license certificate that way. And and then when I found out how to do the UPCGI, this UPCGBI one, um, it it's funny. It's funny when I think back on it because while I was doing the American version of Ministry Central, there was a wall that I kept hitting every time I'd watch the videos, I'd start reading, I'd do my exams, and
Mhm.
I could feel it. And I'm like, why does this feel forced? Why does it feel like I'm constantly pushing against something I'm that I literally told myself I aspire to do that. And I spoke to Patrick Enos about this, and his words were on point. He said, "Lani, I've felt like that the same way when I was doing it." He said, and I instantly just stopped. I stopped doing it, and I just focused on prayer. I focused on just praying with him, communicating with him, reading his word. Not only that, but just finding him in his word, studying it even more deeply. And so to some people that may sound like a broken record. Oh, I've heard that before.
Mhm.
But it was it was exactly what I needed to hear. And I instantly stopped it, and it was for quite a while, to be fair. It was maybe about 3 months. I had put a pause on it, and in that 3 months I felt like my prayer life had grown, had gotten much deeper. I felt like the reading of his word and studying it got more intense than it ever did. And in that period, I had kept asking Pastor, "Oh, have you written a recommendation yet?" And Pastor being Pastor, he he might say yes, but because he's a busy man, and so I in my feelings, I didn't want to seem like, oh, I'm pestering them. I'm asking them, hey, did you write that letter, or did you get any feedback from anyone? So I just let it be, and that that was the biggest thing, Brother Kelly, that I observed from uh, wanting to get my local license was that at the start it was forced,
Mhm.
and I thank God that I was sensitive enough to pick up that you're pushing against the wall. It's not slowing.
Mhm.
You're not you're not ready for it yet, Lani. I thank God that I was sensitive enough to pick that up, and the fact that he that I could reach out to Pastor Patrick and ask him, and for what he could say to me, it just really helped me just stop everything that I thought I had control over, or that I had subconsciously tried to tell myself, "Oh, this is of God. This is of God. This is of God." But
Yeah.
it's not actually of God because it's unnatural.
Yeah.
You're doing things, and you keep trying to tell yourself, you keep trying to convince yourself it's of God, it's of God, and it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the
Yeah.
biggest
So
lesson that I learned.
I think that's a good point. That what you described, feeling the call of God,
Yeah. Yeah.
then you acted on it, but then something stopped you. But I
Right.
think the important thing is you didn't say, "I must have felt the call was wrong." It
Mm.
was a timing issue, not a
Yeah.
calling issue.
Mm.
And so I think that's valuable because other people may feel the call,
Yeah.
progress like you did, and then hit this wall and then say, "Well, the call of God must not be for me."
Yeah.
We can have the right call at the wrong time.
Right.
So I think the fact that you take a step, the first thing to do is not, you know, say no call for me, is to take a
Right.
step back and reconnect with God, the one who gives the call,
Right.
and let the timing work out. Um, so yeah, I think that's valuable because I think there's other people, that have had the same journey. They start and
Mm.
they feel that desire, they feel that passion, but then something happens and it's just not the right time. But that
Yeah.
doesn't mean that it's not the right call.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. I appreciate that. Um, let if someone was, let's say, in your position that you were in, not as a professional rugby player for Australia, not in that because there's probably not too many of those, um, but someone who is, I would call them highly engaged, highly active in their church, a man who's highly engaged in their church, not someone just on the edges, but is starting to feel that stirring that you did, that possibly there's more. Um, what would be your advice that you would give to them to progress that call of God in their life?
Well, I'm currently seeing this firsthand now with some of our youth,
Mhm.
um, and and their first point of contact is faces that they trust, faces who have invested in their life, in their own personal life. It's not just a, "Hey, how you going? Hey, what are you up to?" It's a it's a it's questions that are personal,
Yeah.
asking them how they're doing. So something that I would advise it'd be for people to find a point of contact that they trust, primarily in leadership, to ask them, "Look, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I've been feeling. Can And there's no harm. There's no harm. And I tell everyone, there's no harm in you just saying what you feel.
Mm.
Honesty, truth, truth, truth hurts, but it'll help you. It'll help you grow.
Mm.
And 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 I tell quite a lot of people this, that if you feel a calling of God to, you know what, I want to help out in the cleaning team. I want to help out. See, I want to help teach Sunday school here and there. Okay, go and ask. Come and ask. We cannot determine how you feel just by you saying hello.
Yeah.
It's I'm seeing this firsthand, Brother Kelly, with a few of our youth right now, where some of them are they want to take that next step. They want to do Bible studies. They want to be a part of the the Sunday school ministry, the media ministry. It's it's a beautiful thing to see. You only wish a camera could follow their steps to see the potential there, for them to see their own potential that God is sort of unveiling for them, taking them, guiding them down their own walk. Um, so the best advice I would say is find a face that you trust. Tell them how you feel. If it's something that's got to do with moving into ministry, progressing from where you are, find them, ask them, tell them, share your heart to them. And if you're someone that finds that hard to do, well, we live in the 20, I was about to say 2025, 2026 now. You know, if you're someone that's not confident in speaking, well, you've got a phone,
Mm.
you can message. It's there's that's probably the best advice I could give to someone, because I've seen it work.
Mm.
I've seen them approach myself, approach my wife, approach Pastor Matt, his wife Deandra, over over the possibilities of wanting to go into different ministries,
Mm.
because they feel that sense of, oh, I want to venture out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I think that's really good. There's power in vocalizing. You know,
yeah,
we internalize so much, but there is a power when we begin to vocalize it. It brings
so much.
makes it
Yeah,
more concrete, and yeah, that's powerful to begin to speak it out to people. Find a place. And I think what you said earlier about, you first really felt something when you taught a Bible study is
yeah,
getting involved. My pastor always said God calls people in motion, people who are active. So find a
mm,
place, get involved, uh,
that's it.
and ask. Sometimes
Yeah,
we say nobody's asked me, but have you asked?
right.
Um, so yeah, that's great. That's wonderful, and it's great to see the journey you've been on. It's great to see that you're pursuing ministry and what God is doing in your life. And I want to thank you so much for sharing today, for encouraging us, and really, I hope, challenging some individuals that watch this to take that next step. We all have to take that next step. And so I thank you for the insight that you've shared. And I pray that something on that's been said today would encourage and challenge those who are watching this to continue God's plan for your life, pursuing what God has for you. So thank you so much, Brother Lonnie.
Amen.
I appreciate the words that you've shared. It's been wonderful. And God bless each of you that are watching, and join us next month for the exchange.